So I can't remember if I actually said it last week or if I just thought it, but I figured a good way to welcome the neighbors into the neighborhood would be to bake them something. So I decided on brownies, because who doesn't love brownies? Rich, chocolatey, gooey, nice little crust on the outside. Freaking delicious. Plus, I figured there's a good chance they've never had brownies, so wouldn't it be so nice to introduce them to something that's so delicious? So I baked brownies, let them sit to cool, then took a half an hour to an hour, give or take an hour or so, to get up the courage to leave my house and walk them across the street. So I finally get out my front door, take a step onto my front porch, and then my brain goes, what if there's something in here that they can't eat and you accidentally kill them? Dogs, as we all know, usually can't eat chocolate. It's a bad idea. Not that I'm trying to equate Brexy to dogs. That came out wrong. I'm just saying, dogs are from Earth. There's a lot of stuff that we can eat that they can't eat. What if there's something in these brownies that the Brexy can't eat and I accidentally kill them? But then I'm like, okay, well, they'll get that it is a gift, right? Without any context, brownies don't look like much. It looks like I'm about to hand them a tray of dirt, which I guess could be seen as like a symbolic welcome to Earth. Here's a piece of Earth. Is that a thing? Needless to say, I did not give them the brownies. Instead, I bought all organic fruit, put it in a nice little basket, wrote a little note, took a picture of it, sent it to Harmonized Housing, asked them, hey, can the Brexy eat all this? They gave me the okay. So since I never see anyone else outside when I leave for work in the morning, I put it on their front porch before I left for work in the morning, like a coward. And when I got home that afternoon, it was gone. So, gift received. And something's bound to happen, right? But yeah, I did a thing. The best I could. And here we are. Anyway, let's read a prompt for the week. How did finding out about the existence of aliens affect your religious/spiritual beliefs? Personally, it hasn't really affected it too much. So I grew up Catholic, but decided Catholicism was not for me for several reasons. But yeah, we won't need to go into that. But was raised Catholic, decided Catholicism was not for me, and kind of came to my own conclusions about what I thought was, if that makes sense. So basically, I would label myself spiritual, which I don't personally like because it sounds very woo-woo, but I believe that there is a source or God, and we are all connected to it, and we all have an eternal soul that reincarnates throughout history, existence, whatever. So we're constantly reincarnating and evolving through those reincarnations, but we have a soul that lives throughout all these reincarnations. So yeah, having Brexy to me doesn't change that, or aliens in general doesn't change that. It just expands it. So still believe the universal language is love, and we should all be trying to operate from a place of love. And I feel like if anything, it's just, is there a chance we could reincarnate as aliens? Which I think, yes. So that's how it's affected me. However, coming from a Catholic background and knowing how the Catholic Church affected me, I feel like I can speak on how it might affect, like, aliens being a thing and being introduced might affect specifically Catholicism, but organized religion. So even though it hasn't really impacted me, I would say I think organized religions, specifically Catholicism, are going to have a hard time getting on board for many reasons, but in history, Catholicism hasn't adjusted super well to new things being introduced. One example I can give you is Galileo being like, hey, the Earth actually revolves around the sun, because the teachings were the Earth is the center of the universe. And he was ostracized, specifically from the Catholic Church, for saying something so blasphemous. But now we accept it as truth, and the Catholic Church adjusted. So I think some religions will be able to adjust to the news. I think some will probably just deteriorate, disappear, like they'll be gone. We've lost religions throughout history, and I think aliens being introduced could have that effect. I also think some people are going to see them as gods, and therefore I think new religions might be formed around them. I also think, and saw this, that a lot of people are probably going to view them as demons, and this did happen at the jury selection thing, where we were shown video of the Brexy and a woman got down on her hands and knees. She was speaking Spanish, so I don't know exactly what she was saying, but she was praying, doing the sign of the cross, and a word that sounded like demon was said a lot, and she left. So I do think a lot of that is going to happen. And if I were to take a bet on Catholicism and the way it's going to go, I have a feeling the Brexy will be cast as demons. So yeah, to answer the question, personally, hasn't affected my religious beliefs. However, do think alien/Brexy being introduced is going to affect a lot of people and their religious beliefs. And I don't know that it's going to go super well. So yeah, I guess that's my answer for that. The Brexy took the basket, so in theory, there will be some kind of connection happening at some point. So yeah, I guess that's it for this week. I will see you next time, and hopefully I'll have an update with actual interaction with Brexy. I say hopefully, but at the same time, I'm also okay if I don't have direct contact. Okay, bye.